Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO and this is going to be my video detailing the changes on the 9.17.1 super test. Why is it not called 9.18? No idea. 9.18 must be massive if this isn't being called 9.18. Because to me this seems like a pretty damn substantial patch and there's a lot of changes coming, especially the tech trees like the mouse gen and the VK100.01p and the Panzer 7 are all coming in this patch, which is pretty damn awesome. I've been looking forward to the mouse chain. I think the last time it was talked about was probably about a year and a half ago now. Like this thing was totally removed from the game files and everything. Like this thing was just abandoned. So I'm glad to see that they're finally bringing both these vehicles in. This thing is essentially the mini mouse. This is a tier 8 mouse. It's kind of cool looking, and I kind of want one because it looks cool. And same with the mouse chain. The mouse chain looks like a beast, and I actually might, I don't know, but I might prefer this thing to the actual mouse. So yeah, from what I saw of this thing back in the last time it was introduced, it had only like 10 millimeters less side armor and like 20 less turret armor or some shit, and it was like it looked really good. And I was sad it didn't come into the game. So yeah, and then these three. This definitely seems more suitable for the Panzer 7 than the mouse. This makes a lot more sense. Some more nerfs coming for the VKB and the VKA, but some substantial buffs coming to this thing and this thing. So yeah, this should be interesting. We'll go into those in a second. I have a list of notes of of leaks coming about those here. So I'll just go look through that in a minute. They are nerfing the one, or not the one. They're nerfing the E5. Do you see the side armor here? Do you see just above where my mouse cursor is? The front drive wheel. That is currently behind that there is 254 armor. They're finally nerfing that back to 76.2, which is what it was before HD. So this thing is no longer going to be fucking impossible to pan when it's angled at like 30 degrees. So finally, took them long enough. Glad it's finally coming. They've also decreased the armor of the cupola on the E5 because it was bullshit. The Grill 15 got a lot of nerfs, lost 50 horsepower, lost 5 kilometers an hour in reverse speed, which makes sense because like this thing here for a long time was basically the tier 8, basically the tier 10 Hellcat, like the old Hellcat. So this thing was just a monster. It could determine a game on its own. So yeah, this thing here basically got the gun from the T-34-E5 Rudy. So now it's actually going to have a gun that is actually worth fuck, which is nice. So anybody who owns this here, this is actually a pretty nice buff for you. Here's one of the biggest buffs happening: 10 kilometer an hour upgrade in speed for the Centurion Mark 1 and Mark 7 1. That's massive. Half second buff to the reload of the top 20 pounder for the Mark 1, and 0.8 second reload reduction for the Mark 9 turret on the Mark 7. So those are pretty damn big buffs. Like the Centurion 7 was already a very good tank. The Centurion Mark 1 was already alright, so this is going to be a game changer for these vehicles. Like honestly, I think if there's any patch that's going to change, that could possibly change the current meta, I would say it's this one. So this could be a big game changer. And then the FV4002 got the same speed buff as the Centurions did. So yeah, and this actually makes sense considering the Action X is now the top of the line. When the FV4202 was the top of the line, the 40 kilometer an hour top speed did make sense. But now that the Action X is actually the top of the line, this does make more sense than the 40 kilometer an hour top speed. So yeah. And then a bunch of other little changes, some rework to the sound, some rework mini maps. It took me a minute to figure out which map this actually was. This is what's it called? Sacred Valley. So yeah, it genuinely took me a couple of minutes to work out which one it was. And I've somehow managed to pause it up. I'm not sure how, but I did do that somehow. Training map, the Stalingrad map, the Overlord map, and this map, which I don't speak of. So yeah, time to go into the details of the changes of the buffs and nerfs to a lot of these vehicles. But yeah, last thing I'm gonna say, Japanese to Type 4 and Type 5 Heavy both got 150mm guns, which is awesome. These three vehicles both got substantial speed buffs. T20 prototype got by far the biggest one, and for Germany, all of these vehicles got changes. All the vehicles that are highlighted, so the Tiger 2 didn't get changed, 3601 didn't get changed, All of these other vehicles got changed in some shape or form. So yeah, let's get into those details here now. Here it is here. Starting off, so talking about the Centurion changes, the FE4202 changes. The Panther gets a reload buff for the L100 gun on the first and second turret, which is pretty nice. So anybody who drives that thing, that's a pretty big buff for you. Then when it comes to Tiger 1, got some buffs to the gun mantlet, and I believe some just turret armor buffs in general, along with, and if you see this here, this happened to all the German tanks. They all got from 171 to 194 pen on their 88mm guns prem rounds. So yeah, that's a pretty substantial buff that goes across the entirety of the German tech tree. I was just double checking, make sure I was recording on Audacity. Didn't want to record all this and then realized I didn't have an audio file. I did that once before, not gonna lie. Half an hour video and I fucked it up and I was just so mad. I was so fucking mad. So yeah, 80 horsepower engine increase to the Krupp stair weapon trigger, which would make the thing a bit more mobile. So that's good news for anybody who has that. The Grill 15 nerfs that I talked about already. Yeah, all of these vehicles got the 88mm prem round changes. And here's one of the biggest buffs, in my opinion. 80 extra horsepower to the top engine on the VK3002D, 4km/h to the top speed, and some traverse speed buffs to the VK3002D's turrets. So yeah. This thing got some health buffs, and the 88mm changes, all the other ones got some dispersion changes, so yeah. Although I think the main thing this thing needed was the terrain resistance changes. Because this thing has some of the worst terrain resistances on a tier 6 in the game. I think on hard terrain it's as fast as a Cromwell, and on soft terrain it loses all kind of mobility and it just crawls. So yeah, Panzer 34, which has been in the game for a damn long time, has actually gotten some changes. Increases the view range, which was definitely needed. 320mm view range on medium at tier 5 was worthless. And it got some health buffs, which is also nice. And it got some gun buffs to the first and second turret, I believe. Or no, these are different guns, right? So, second turret both got rate of fire buffs. This thing here I'm not going to cover because it's only to China, apparently. So, yeah. More prime round buffs. So, yeah, on to the mouse. Now, the mouse is one of the biggest changes. So, I'm going to actually open the mouse here just so I can show you one of the changes that they made. I'm just gonna angle it like that. Okay, so they have reduced the dispersion, or reduced the they've increased the accuracy by reducing the number. So that's actually a buff, if that makes sense. Decrease the dispersion from when you rotate the hull. Decrease the dispersion from when you rotate the turret, and decrease the reload time from 14.9 seconds to 12 seconds. So this thing here now fires 5 rounds a minute, pretty much. That is massive. Went from 2.3 second aim time to 2.1. Combined with these changes, will make this thing aim almost instantly, and this thing needs to aim almost instantly because it's not very strong when its turrets point directly at the enemy because they just put heat rounds straight through it. And also the turret went from 240 to 260mm of armor, which is awesome. So that's I assume that covers the entirety of the turret. So this would be 260, this would be 260. So yeah. Right, and there's also this buff here, which is actually pretty important. I should just show you this. Whoops, it's the E50. I'll talk about that in a minute. You see this area here? This has been a long time weak point for the mouse. It's just 80mm zone right behind the front drive wheel, so you could perma-track a mouse while doing damage every single time. If that's buffed from 80 to, what is it, 140, so add 60 to that there, so you're going to need at least 230 pen to be able to do that consistently. That will mean that no longer will T-rates be able to perma-track the mouse and do damage every single time. So yeah, you could argue that these changes are going to make the mouse even more of a prem magnet, but yeah. I'm still happy enough with most of the changes. This change here I'm skeptical of. I don't know which part of the tank they're actually buffing. Are they buffing the lower plate? In which case that would be good. If they're buffing the upper plate, that's worthless buff because nothing can pen the upper plate already. So yeah. Okay. They're also doing some changes to the E50, the Tier 9 German medium tank. They're making the 88 L100 actually usable on this vehicle, so that's nice. I'm not sure if they changed. Oh, yeah, they did change the aim time. They changed the aim time for the first turret and the second turret from 2.9 seconds. 2.9 seconds meant this gun was worthless. You could not use this gun on this vehicle, so yeah. So that's a substantial buff. You actually have another gun option on the E50 now, instead of just using the 105 for everything. And they've also increased gun depression from 5 degrees to 8 degrees. I'm assuming this is over the front for both turrets. This thing has also been changed to HD, so that's also probably why this change has happened. So they've been able to like remodel it a bit so it doesn't clip through the turret, through the hull or something whenever you're aiming down over the front. That's why I'm assuming it's happened. Okay, E75 got a bunch of dispersion changes to try and help with its aiming. It's also got a half-second buff to its 128mm aim time, so that's pretty damn nice. And then most of the other changes are just dispersion related, like whenever like soft stat related. So yeah, you can see them all for yourself. It's just there. No point in reading out every single one of them because most of these numbers mean nothing to everybody. They've increased the accuracy for the 128 on the E100 and decreased the soft stats, which is a buff, a second off the reload for the 128, and reduced its aiming time as well, which is going to actually make the 128 maybe usable on the 100, which is nice. They've also buffed the pen from 235 to 246 on the 150, so yeah. And then they buffed the turret armor of the Tiger P, which is nice because that's probably the weakest area of the Tiger P. If they buff the mantlet enough to where people can't just pen it with everything, that would be really, really nice and would make Tiger P competitive again. Now here comes one of the main changes. The VKB. The VKB has had some substantial changes. Its lower plate has been reduced from 200mm to 170mm, but this comes with the buff of the whole side armor from 100 to 120mm of armor. So this thing will become a side scraping monster and won't just have to tank with its front armor anymore. So this should be interesting. And also, I think it just said this twice, so yeah. With that. And it's mainly just dispersion changes, stuff like that. Remove vulnerable zones on the upper front plate. So they made the upper front plate basically impenetrable, and the lower plate is now a weak point on this thing, which a lot of people will say is a really good change. And this thing will now become a side scraping monster, and you only want a side scrape in this vehicle from now on because the lower plate nerfed. Okay, so yeah, that basically sums this thing up. Panther 2. This is the only change to the Panther 2. It's a bit confusing. This here, for some reason, isn't highlighted. So yeah, it's a bit weird. For the second turret, added 88 L100. That's the gun the E50 had buffed significantly on that vehicle. So I'm curious to see what the stats are like for the Panther 2 with this gun. The buff, that general buff that everything got. From 6 degrees to 8 degrees of gun depression. That's a substantial buff, and if you hear that banging noise, somebody's in the roof space. So yeah. So 6 to 8 degrees, that's a substantial buff because the gun depression on the on the VKA was kind of diabolical. I'm not gonna lie. 6 degrees on a tank as tall as that could get you fucked over. Sometimes it was really annoying. A buff to the upper front plate armor from 120 to 150, although that comes at the cost of losing 20mm of lower plate armor, which kind of sucks in my opinion. That means this thing still only has 80 side armor, and it also has lost 20mm of lower plate armor. And the lower plate armor was one of the most troll lower plates in the game, because if you had a 175 pen gun, you could angle like 5-10 degrees, and a 175mm gun could not pen your lower front plate. So I need to see the HD model. I need to see what they've actually done with the lower front plate. But yeah, this seems like a nerf overall to me. It's going to be more usable overall. It's still going to have a weak turret. Like the turret roof still going to be kind of crap. But yeah, overall still seems it's still probably going to be a decent tank. I like this tank. I'm going to do a review of the VKA and the VKB before they're changed, and then I'm going to do one afterwards. Like I said, I was going to do it for the Lova, but I kind of got distracted. Didn't really have time to do it for the Lova, but I'm definitely going to do it for these two. Um, so yeah, overall, I would say this is more of a nerf to the armor than a buff because the 120 millimeters of flat armor all over the front was actually pretty usable against, especially against medium tanks. But at least they nerfed the mobility. The mobility is one of the main things for the VK. So yeah, Flak Toaster got some buffs to its prim rounds. The Panzer IV small term got a reload buff and added some side skirt armor. That's probably not going to add that much to this machine. It's probably still going to be pretty much worthless because it has no engine power at all. If you don't know what this vehicle is, actually, yeah, Germany. Tier 6 Panzer IV Schmalturm. It's basically the Panther turret, the Panther's top turret mounted on a Panzer IV. And right now, people call it the TIE Fighter, and you're going to see why. Yeah, that's why it's called the TIE Fighter, the big screens on the side. Um, so those will actually be worth 5 millimeters of armor after this patch. I don't think it's going to help the tank that much. What it really needed was an engine buff. It only has 300 horsepower engine. That's abysmal. This thing is slow as fuck. This thing is genuinely like slow as fuck. So yeah, it's probably still not going to be a great machine, but yeah, it's not even on sale anymore. So I doubt a lot of people even don't even really care. So yeah, um, Panther M10 got a lot of buffs to its dispersion and it's just general like changes to make it more usable. Upgrade its top speed, add some spaced armor to the turret because of the weird like M10 style turret it has. Increases view range. So yeah, overall just trying to improve the usability of this vehicle. Increase the turret traverse speeds for the VK3001D. Increase this maximum speed. I think they're trying to make these vehicles fit more with the Leopard line, which makes sense honestly because yeah, it does make sense for the Leopard line because they're all about the speed. Let's see, anything else I need to mention about that there? There's slight traverse speed buff for the second suspension. Indian Panzer got some buffs to its aiming speed, which is damn nice, not gonna lie. The 9cm gun on this thing aimed for an eternity with a 2.7 second aiming time. So any buff to the aiming time on this thing will make this thing better because that was absolutely abysmal. I hated that gun. Increase the gun depression for the Leopard PTA, which is going to be nice. I should probably rebuy that tank and try and finish that thing to grind. I got like 17,000 XP into it and then just gave up because it was pissing me off. Not gonna lie. Um, and this thing gets ammo rack constantly, so ammo rack health would be nice as well. Wargaming, so take note. VK7201K, this is basically the Panzer 7. It lost 10 kilometers an hour to its top speed. Ammo capacity buffed by 11 for its 150mm gun, so that's pretty fucking nice. So 24 rounds sounds like a lot, but if you're firing a lot of HE, which is what I tended to do with the E100's 150mm gun, well, I'll probably do the same with the Panzer 7. Yeah, you can need a lot of ammo, so that's a damn nice buff in my opinion. And they've also reduced the aiming time by half a second, which is nice. And the reload rate was also increased, which was nice. So yeah, and the pen buff that the E100 got. So yeah, pretty nice buffs overall to that vehicle. T-35M don't need cover. Waffenträger out Panzer 4 got the 11 pen buff for the 150mm gun because it's basically the E100's gun. VK3002M. Okay, this thing got some buffs to its soft stats for its gun. So yeah, the upper plate was also buffed from 60 to 85, and the lower plate was reduced from 60 to 50. I think they're trying to bring these vehicles more, trying to make these vehicles more consistent with like a weak lower plate because this thing was just 60 all over in the front. The Panther also has a weaker lower plate. The Panther 2 also has a weaker lower plate. I think it's 100 upper, 80 lower. So yeah, kind of makes sense for the line. T28. Okay, T28 got a buff from 18 kilometers an hour top speed to 22. Um, it's still going to be a crap tank. I'm not going to lie. Traverse speed's still going to be horrific. Reverse speed's still horrific. So yeah, it's still going to be a bad tank. T85. This will actually help T85 a lot, provided somebody pushes it, because I don't think they buff the engine power because it's still going to be slow as hell, accelerating wise. So yeah. That should make the T85 more usable, providing you have a teammate to push you. T20 prototype, it got a 10 km an hour speed buff and a 3 km an hour reverse speed buff. Yeah, again, no engine buff, so this thing's still gonna be slow as balls. Let's see, so E5 already covered. Heavy tank number 6 got the prim ammo buff that all the other vehicles got. Type 5 Heavy got the 150mm gun I mentioned, and they also reinforced the turret and hull armor for the Type 5, which means I think a substantial buff to the actual overall thickness, and they've removed the cheek weak points, I believe. I believe that's how they did it, at least. Plus, they've added the 150mm gun for both of them. Upgrade the weight capacity for the Type 4. I'm assuming this is to accommodate the 150mm gun, and they've also reinforced hull armor for the tier 9 as well. So yeah, overall, pretty substantial changes to the game, and I think overall they're going to be good. Kind of annoyed about the VKA changes. I don't think it needed the lower plate buff, but I guess it does make sense for the line, because I think the VK7201 kind of has a crappy lower plate, if I remember right. So let's just look at the VK7201K, just out of curiosity. Let's see, it's 200mm, 200mm. So yeah, the lower plate on this thing is considerably weaker than its upper plate, because it's not angled at all. Pretty much, it's pretty much angled like a Lova's lower plate, except it's 80mm thicker. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty cool machine. Although this is a weak point you need to be aware of whenever you're driving it. If you angle too much, because this is rounded at the back, I'll just show you this here because it's visual. Because of this angled area here, if you side scrape too much in this vehicle, people can just put shots through here. I've killed these before because I didn't know about this weak point, and which is kind of weird because it's a Clan Wars tank. It's not exactly like anybody can get one. So yeah, you can put shot after shot through that there with ease whenever they're trying to angle this vehicle. It's a pretty substantial weak point. So if you're driving one of these when it's the Panzer 7, unless they change this, which I doubt they will, this is a substantial weak point for this vehicle. It's a gigantic weak point, honestly. And can you even use it from the front? You actually kind of can, yeah. So this is a giant weak point, easy to take advantage of. Probably going to be really annoying for people to who are driving this vehicle if they don't know about it for the first while at least. So yeah, it's good to know about that in advance so you can prepare for how you're going to have to like learn to angle your tank in order to try to avoid people shooting at that, because that's probably going to be absolutely infuriating for a lot of people. Just like tier 8s putting shot straight through their side armor because it's crappily angled. So yeah, I think that's everything I needed to cover. So you can see why I left this to a separate video, because I was thinking about it, and yeah, it's over 20 minutes. And also, I did record this once before, and I hadn't even gotten to the halfway point, and I was at 35 minutes. So yeah, that's considerably faster than my first recording. So yeah, I'm going to leave some links to where you can see the HD models and TOG, VKA, E50, and I believe E50M and E50 are both here. T14, Panther 2, Indian Panzer, VK3002D, Panzer 4S, Type 64, 5916, WZ111 1-4 thing, Tier 9 WZ111 basically. It's very difficult to see there, but yeah, it's kind of a crappy angle. T15, 907, A32, 87, 82. People are going to like that one. The Renault FT, MX38, the Hotchkiss H35, and the Aero V39. But yeah, this gives you all the vehicles here now. And unfortunately, T21 is not available, so it's not in the list. And then there's TOG, which everybody would be happy about because everybody likes TOG. And then there's these vehicles here, Tier 10 Soviet vehicles, the 140, the 268, and the 263. And this is a random image of the 907, which I'm not really sure why it's there, but whatever. And here's the last thing I need to say. One of the officials for Wargaming has confirmed this. If you have the mouse unlocked and researched in the tree after the tier 10 split, after the split of the new line, the new tier 10 has to be researched and bought still. So if you have the mouse unlocked, you're not going to get the Panzer 7 for free. If the mouse was researched, the new VK100 and mouse gen will be unlocked already. So that basically saves you the entire grind, which kind of sucks for me because I actually was kind of looking forward to grinding the new vehicles. If you only have the VKB with XP on it, nothing changes. You keep the XP on that vehicle, and you can research the new tier 10. But the new mouse branch will be completely locked. So if you lock the mouse on from the VKB before this change happens, you will get the mouse line completely unlocked for free. And if you don't want the mouse line completely unlocked for free, basically keep your XP and wait for the Panzer 7 to come, and then you can grind through the entire mouse line. So yeah, VK100 will be unlocked for you as well. Bad news is you need to hurry up. Okay, so yeah, so that basically sums it up. So that's good to know. I'm kind of sad that I don't get to grind through the new mouse line. They're all gonna be unlocked for me. But at least I still get to unlock new tier 10. I had the VKB already, so I get to keep it, and the XP stays on it as far as I'm aware. So I still get to grind to the VKB to the Panzer 7. Also kind of annoying because I have like 90,000 free XP. Or I've got like 70 or 80,000 XP on this thing. Just kind of sitting there. So that's probably never going to be used now. Not gonna lie. VK100. So yeah, you get to keep all these vehicles, and yeah, I'm going to do reviews on these two whenever they change. Can't do reviews on these because they don't exist yet, and I can't do reviews on the mouse because I don't own it anymore because I sold it because it was pissing me off. Same with the 100. I do own the 75, but the changes to the 75 aren't substantial enough to warrant a video. So yeah. I believe the changes to the E50 are mainly because the Panther 2 are getting the 88 L100 that the E50 used to have as a unique gun. So yeah. Also interesting, the MC, Japonia, and USA. Interesting. Oh, I can actually click it. Oh yeah, that's right. That's because it's a external website. How do we get back? Okay, back. Let's see. So I believe that is pretty much everything I need to cover. I can't think of anything else I need to do. So yeah, this has been my summary of the 9.17.1 patch. You can see by the length of the video why I'm surprised this isn't just being called 9.18, because it is a fucking long video and there's a lot of stuff to go over. So yeah, and I should probably say just before the end, all of these changes are these are all subject to change. Not all of these are going to make it through to the live server, if I had to guess. So yeah, be aware of that beforehand, and don't just kind of assume that these are all going to go through. Like, their chances are at least a couple of these vehicles are going to be changed, either buffed or nerfed, before they actually get before they make it to the live server. But yeah. But I think most of the changes are probably going to be alright. So, although they're actually thinking about, they may actually look at a couple of other different vehicles and maybe buff or nerf them depending on the VK100 that are 1P. Maybe they'll change the KV4, or maybe they'll change the OHO. So, depending on how powerful that thing is. So yeah, that should be interesting to see how they work that out. And also, if you haven't seen the VK100 1P, I should just show you it here. I don't think I can show you. No, I can't. The mouse gen is not in Tanks GG. So yeah, if you haven't seen one, this is what it looks like. It's cool looking, isn't it? I can't wait to see this thing in the game. It looks really, really cool. Also, this is spaced armor on the ass. I'm not entirely sure why it has spaced armor on the ass, but it has spaced armor on its ass. So yeah, only 140 front armor, which is kind of sad. Not gonna lie. I feel like that should be 160, 170, maybe over the entire of the front, because it's a mouse line based vehicle. So yeah, and also it has the traditional mouse weak point where just shoot near the gun and you're probably gonna pan, and it also has a cupola weak point, which is kind of unnecessary in my opinion, but whatever. So yeah, it still looks cool to me. I'm kind of looking forward to see how it plays, and yeah, I'll probably try and do a review for this thing here as well whenever it comes out. Gonna try and get some credits gathered up to do that. So yeah, I believe that's everything I needed to cover. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.